Welcome to Brody Cinemas. Make sure you grab your popcorn and beware of spoilers ahead, because today we're going to explain a 2015 Japanese science fiction live action movie called Assassination Classroom. This movie has a very unique concept about the relationship between students and teachers, but also has a very deep moral story behind it. So make sure to watch to the end to find out what it is. Alright, the movie begins with a giant explosion that destroys 70% of the moon, giving it its permanent crescent moon fixture. Back on Earth, the Japanese military attempts to launch an attack on a mysterious creature, but unfortunately all the soldiers are wiped out by an octopus-like monster. The monster itself is suspected to be the culprit behind the destruction of the moon and plans to destroy Earth as well. At Kunikikyoka Junior High, one of the most prestigious private schools in Tokyo, students, especially who are currently in their third years, are required to excel in all the fields of their education, or they will get transferred to a remedial class called Class 3E. Students at Class 3E will study at a separate building which is located about 1 kilometer away from the main school building.
Surprisingly, the monster with the yellow rounded face, who is responsible for the moon destruction and plans to do the same to Earth by March next year, is going to be the teacher for Class 3E students. And I know what y'all thinking, how in the hell is the monster finna be the teacher? Like, what's going on here, you know what I'm saying? But we will soon figure out why. Tadaomi Kurasuma, representative from the Ministry of Defense, explains that the monster's speed is unmatched and urges the students from the class to kill the weird creature before next year. The creature also adds that he has made an agreement with the government to teach at Class 3E in order to delay his plan to destroy the Earth. In order to kill him, the students have to use their specially made bullets and weapons from the Ministry of Defense, which are harmless to humans but are deadly to the yellow creatures. Before he leaves, Kurasuma mentions that the reward for a successful assassination will be 10 billion yen. And for those that don't know, 10 billion yen is the equivalent to around 84 million US dollars. So let us know in the comments if that would encourage you to kill the yellow octopus-like monster, which it definitely encouraged all the students to. But in order to assist the students, Arena, a highly skilled assassin, is also hired to kill the creature, but she fails. Since then, Arena also does a part-time job to become their English teacher. After that, the class is officially named Assassination Classroom.
Nagisa is the main protagonist of the movie. Despite his passive and shy personality, he's a very observant person that tends to pay strict attention to his new teacher in order to understand his motives and compiles all the information in his notes for reference. Now, the first attempt of killing happens when the yellow creature is teaching the class. Equipped with knives and bombs installed on Nagisa, he approaches his teacher to submit his assignment, and suddenly his friend detonates the bombs, almost killing Nagisa himself. But unfortunately, the plan fails as the teacher manages to dodge the explosion. But that's not it though. The failed attempt also makes the teacher very angry as it almost kills one of his students. He then threatens to kill all the students' relatives if they ever try to do something stupid like that again. He said, "Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb, stupid? Come on now." Since the creature seems to be unkillable and he is also a teacher, the class decides to name him Kuro Sensei.
Despite being fully aware that he is the main target of the assassination, Kuro Sensei is able to bomb the Class 3E, who in turn regards him as their indispensable teacher. Throughout the school term, Karma Akabane, who previously was a student from A class and has recently come out from his suspension due to protecting former Class 3E student from being bullied, joins the class. He is a very smart student as he manages to trick Kuro Sensei when he meets him for the first time. Despite his academic excellence, Karma seems to be arrogant and overconfident. Kuro Sensei then tries to fix his bad attitude in several ways.
After school, Karma and Nagisa are approached by Kuro Sensei. Karma asks whether the teacher would risk his life to protect one of his students and challenge him to do so, but it is actually his plan to put Kuro Sensei in a weak spot and then try to kill him. Karma suddenly jumps off the hill while pointing his gun at the teacher, but somehow Kuro Sensei manages to rescue his student thanks to his very elastic, unlimited tentacles. Even though his plan fails, Karma doesn't give up and tells the creature that he will kill him someday because Karasuma's strategy shows no progress. His supervisor decides to deploy a transfer student to the class 3E in order to kill the creature. It's an AI installed in a box called Ritsu. Ritsu was programmed to only aim at Koro Sensei and is equipped with a lot of advanced military weapons, but the teacher manages to dodge all the bullets. The arrival of Ritsu makes the students uncomfortable because it keeps firing while the class is being conducted. The students even have to pick up the bullets later. Because of that, the students decide to lock her in a box with some good old duct tape and a chain.
One day, Koro Sensei approaches Ritsu and gives it some advice, which is to encourage her to collaborate with other students. Koro Sensei then gives Ritsu some data for the AI to learn. The next day, Ritsu can now express some emotions. She also creates a phone application in order to deepen her friendship with the students. When the class is about to start, out of nowhere, a strange kid named Itona breaks into the classroom. He claims himself to be stronger than Koro Sensei and challenges him to a duel after class. It turns out that Itona also has tentacles as his main weapon. Now when Koro Sensei seen them tentacles come out of Itona's head, he became very angry and asked Itona where did the tentacles come from. But Itona ignores Koro Sensei and continues to attack. He almost kills Koro Sensei and gets him cornered, but Koro Sensei manages to beat the kid with the same weapon the students used and end up throwing him out of the class.
Itona is then carried away from the school by his white cloak guardian after losing the match. After school, Koro Sensei is asked by his students about his real intentions to teach the class. He replies that he does that to fulfill a promise he made to someone. So to get closer to his students, Koro Sensei conducts Assassination Training Camp where he uses his Mach speed to teach each student separately with targeted revisions for their worst subjects. One night, Koro Sensei sneaks into the girls' room and is forced by the female students to share his love life stories, but he then avoids the question and runs away. A few moments later, Karasuma's role is replaced by Takoka, an experienced drill inspector, because Karasuma's not making any progress at all in the assassination mission. At first, Takoka seems to be very cheerful and to put a lot of attention towards his students, but Arena manages to dig deeper into Takoka's background and figures out that he is a very violent person. The real Takoka is displayed when he slaps the mess out of one of his students, but I know me personally, I'm not going for that, so comment down below what you would do if your teacher slaps you like that. But Karasuma manages to prevent him from doing something worse to the students. Instead, Takoka challenges one of the students to a duel.
Karasuma sees the assassination talent within Nagisa and asks him to battle with the rude instructor. Nagisa uses an unpredictable move and manages to bring Takoka down. So because Nagisa won, the instructor has to leave the school with shame. The next day, one of the students, Akuda, gives Koro Sensei a poison, which turns out later could be sodium hydroxide, and asks him to drink it. Instead of killing him, the poison just boosts Koro Sensei's power because it stimulates his cells. Koro Sensei then continues his lesson, but suddenly the students ask him why they need to study if they can get 10 billion yen by killing him. After that, Koro Sensei gathers all his students, including Arena and Karasuma, at the field to motivate them. He explains that a confident assassin will always have a backup plan that they can rely on, meaning the students will always have this wisdom for the future, even if they're not the one that kills Koro Sensei. Koro Sensei also shows off his ability to steal military stuff, telling the students that they have to excel in everything in order to be magnificent assassins and kill him.
Final exam is coming soon, and to motivate his students to gain excellent scores, Koro Sensei promises that the top students of 5 academic subjects will be awarded a chance to cut off his tentacles, which will greatly slow him down, meaning the possibility of assassinating him increases. Next, with his Mach speed ability, Koro Sensei gives his students a first-hand experience of learning by bringing them to places where they can learn certain subjects directly. The results of the final exam is announced. Nakamura, Akuda, and Karma managed to get the highest scores for English, science, and mathematics. Also, there were 3 more students who managed to excel in home economics. Thus, the 6 students will have the opportunity to destroy Koro Sensei's tentacles. So, one of the students suggests to plan the assassination during the summer holiday, and the class agrees. The students students are doing some preparations to ensure that the assassination will be successful with the right strategy. The execution day has come, and eventually they manage to bind Koro Sensei and begin the attack. Thanks to Nagisa's observation, the class manages to discover one of Koro Sensei's weaknesses, which is water, and transforms the arena into a water park. For the final blow, two students launch their final shots, resulting in Koro Sensei suddenly exploding. However, Koro Sensei transforms into a ball, which is his final absolute form, to avoid being killed. Suddenly, Takoka and his crew confronts Class 3E, claiming to be the culprit who poisoned several students.
Takoka offers to trade the antidote for Koro Sensei. Nagisa and Karma team up to protect Koro Sensei from Atona, who is now working for Takoka, while the other students try to find the cure for the poison students. Nagisa and Karma are no match for Atona's powers as they struggle to beat him, but suddenly as planned, a heavy rain occurs which weakens Atona's tentacle power. In the end of the battle, Nagisa manages to cut off the tentacles from Atona, but unfortunately they are informed by Ritsu that Takoka has kidnapped one of the students and threatens to kill her, but thanks to Nagisa's intelligence, they manage to trick Takoka with a fake ball, and the students manage to turn over the table, punishing Takoka and his crew with their own weapons. At the end of the film, Koro Sensei is brought to the military facility. Seeing that Koro Sensei is vulnerable, the government proceeds to do a public execution in front of his grieving students. Before execution, Koro Sensei says his final words, saying that his students have shown very good progress throughout the semester. However, it is not that easy to kill Koro Sensei. So he manages to survive the execution and is allowed to continue teaching Class 3E for the second term, making Class 3E the Assassination Classroom again, with Atona now permanently enrolled. I don't know how in the world they let that thing back in the street, let alone back in the classroom, when it's still a freaking hole in the moon because of him. But hey man, that's the end of the video. Let us know what other movies you want us to recap, and without further ado, we appreciate you stopping by Brody Cinemas.